What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Bone Apple Tea. I'm your host, Randy Baruso, and today Adam can't join us. He is currently on vacation out in Lebanon. Hell yeah. A little bit jealous, but it's okay. I'm back here in Connecticut, and today I had the pleasure of interviewing the wonderfully talented Liza Roberts. So you might know her from her Instagram. She has an amazing profile. Go check her out. And she is a super talent in the photography space. So this is a really fun episode. We get to learn about her, what she does, how she does what she does, a little bit about her in things that aren't photography, and all sorts of awesome stuff. So thanks so much for listening and enjoy the show. All right. Well, here we are.
Here we are. This is weird.
It is, isn't it? It's always a little strange hearing yourself in the headphones, but we're a little bit further away, so it's nice. Honestly, the headphones are for me because I have a problem with interrupting people. So I find that like if I have them directly in my ear, I'm much more likely to just shut up and let them talk.
Good. I'm looking forward to not being interrupted.
So for people that don't know, this is Liza Roberts. She is a very talented photographer.
Thank you.
And I don't do I say event coordinator planner? Like, how do I?
I like to call them creative retreats or creative events. Creative events. I kind of do I wear a lot of different hats for those. So yeah, coordinator's great.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Cause I feel like I like half the time I'm seeing you just doing like standard photos. And then all of a sudden there's like 10 like just people all wearing like dresses and doing some crazy elaborate photo shoot style thing. So one of the things I've been super curious about is how did you even get into taking photos, period?
Sure. So I got into it in high school. My dad was always really into photography too. And he always liked to have the new latest gadget. So he got a DSLR and I used it more than he did. I kind of took over it, taking photos at my sister's softball games, it was so much fun. And people really like to have images, and it was just something like rewarding to like give to someone. So then I started playing around with self-portraits because, I'm always available to myself.
Right.
And I just really just had so much fun with it. It was a great way to get to know people, like doing portraiture. So it all started then.
Yeah. What was like your first aha, I like portraits moment? Was it like, you were with a friend and you were just having a blast and you're like, oh, wow, this looks great. And it was fun. Like,
yeah. So I took a photography class in college, just like a very basic beginner's class as part of an art school requirement. And one of the projects was, it was just very open-ended, like kind of do whatever you want. And I've always really liked to connect different art forms. Like a lot of my inspiration comes from different forms of art. So I thought it would be really fun to take different artists, like just different, like Georgia O'Keeffe, Alphonse Mucha, and recreate those paintings with women in my life who I just really loved. So
that's cool.
I think I just really enjoyed that project, just how creative I could be with it. And so I think that probably was my first portraiture is super fun to like play with. Yeah.
Wow. So then you probably do normal portraits for a while, right? But like when do you dive into like, okay, I'm going to be doing fantasy stuff with like, the whole kit and caboodle. You got like the dressing and the set design. And like, I'm sure that doesn't happen in an instant. You must kind of sort of stumble into it or something, right?
Yeah, for sure. So when I was modeling, I started modeling again in like 2017 maybe, and I really missed being on the other side of a camera. So I got a camera and I was doing kind of like, I don't know what to call it, like girls in abandoned places. Like, let's just like do this weird pose and it looks cool. It just still does look cool, but that wasn't really my niche. And I just I've always been a huge nerd. Like my favorite movies growing up, like, The Labyrinth, for example, just it's so theatrical and you can have so much fun playing around with costumes and hair and makeup, just fantastical kind of worlds you can create. And so I don't really know exactly when I decided to do fantasy stuff, but I just kind of stumbled into it and it's
Mm.
like, this is my thing. Like, this is just so much fun to create these worlds with people. And like, I get to hold swords, which is
Yeah.
great. I have a lot of swords now. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It is kind of funny. The one shoot that I did where I got to hold a sword was a ton of fun.
Yeah, right?
It's like a very like, ooh, yay.
So
And there's,
powerful. Yeah.
and then there's no actual danger. So it's like, it's all fun. And that's all it is.
Yeah, exactly.
So when do you think was one of the first shoots that you really became like, okay, I'm going into this with the intention that this is a fantasy shoot. I'm going to plan out all of the outfits. Maybe we add a sword or two. Do you remember like, and I don't mean maybe like the first time, but the first time you went into it, it was fully planned and you looked at the pictures and you were like, hell yeah.
Sure. For fantasy specifically?
Yeah. For some of
Okay.
those like, and maybe I kind of like, I guess it's more of like a question like when you got your current style, like when you really felt like, oh, this image is kind of what I want to keep doing.
For sure. So it's kind of, I went from like doing this specific style that I told you about earlier, just kind of like abandoned places and stuff to kind of like, I really loved like the cottage core thing for a while.
Yes,
and it kind of like blends, like there's like a certain intersection with that in fantasy because it's very ethereal and pretty and beautiful. But then I really admire I Do Declare's work. Kelsey, her wife, Coda, and then their friend Mal, all make beautiful garments, like kind of historical inspired, but also a little bit fantasy inspired garments. And like Mal makes beautiful crowns and jewelry. And I always really loved their stuff. And I was like, hey, do you want to collaborate with me? And they're like, hell yeah, let's do like a Lady Nights thing, which is kind of the first like Lady Night thing that I did.
How long ago was this?
This was actually when we met, like last November. Yeah, it was like the big shoot for me, like coming up to Boston to do. And I got to work with like Rachel Maxey for the first time. It was just like so much on the line for me. And I was just very excited that it came out. Yeah, I saw these photos and like, this is cool. This is what I want to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so that kind of makes sense because I feel like when I met you, you must have had like maybe, I think you had below 10,000 followers at the time. And not that's like, following like is like,
right.
But it's just like, it's reflective that like, you found that and then we're into, you're somewhere above 4, are you close to like 50? Or something? You're saying like,
Getting there. Yeah.
Getting there. 40 and climbing, we'll say. And possibly above that. But the point is that like, it like exploded, it seems like, like you kind of found this wonderful thing and then it just kind of took off.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate. And people are so lovely and just like so supportive of my work. It's really fun to share that fantasy genre with other people who really love it. Like I found my nerd people, like the people who are just like would rather live in this like fantasy world, and we get to do it like every day if we want to, and it's it's just really fun to share it with people.
Yeah. What was your first like I guess the Lady Nights was like the first one, but I feel like that's more of like the first like, oh wow, this is cool. What was like, because you've organized a few of these events, right?
Yeah.
So I guess before we say what's the first, because we've kind of asked that question already. What's like, what's your feeling going into those things and how do you really go about planning it? Because it seems like a really big endeavor.
It is a lot. So you know me, I'm very type A.
Yes.
I love planning. I'm a Capricorn. People who like, you'll know what that means.
Yep. the people that
people know will know.
Yes. Yeah.
So I start pretty well in advance, which probably seems like too much for some people, but I just really love to dive into it. I'm sorry, tell me the question again. I feel like I'm going on a tangent.
No, and please go on as many tangents as you want. That's what podcasts are all about. So the question is like, how do you go about organizing it? Because it is a really big endeavor to like, because I remember like, for example, we just shot a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
We did Indy and Indiana Jones, and then we shot some Outlander stuff, which was a blast.
Yeah, it was such a fun time.
The prep was so important to it. And we spent hours like writing out. I mean, I wrote out like a whole script of dialogue. We didn't say any of it, but it was my intention to be like, this is the kind of the feeling that should be happening when we're on screen on camera together. And so And I remember like, you were like, I know I'm going to bother you, but like, okay, this outfit, that outfit, we need to get these boots, and I got your shirt. I'm going to ship it to you. What does it look like?
Yeah.
And so I can only imagine if you're dealing with 8 people, 9, 10 people, that it's got to be even crazier.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So thank you for reminding me.
Yes.
So, I'm a very visual person. So everything I do starts with like, once I have an idea, I kind of make like a Pinterest board or like a visual board and then share it with the people that I want to do this trip with. I have done trips in the past that are just kind of like open by application or just kind of first come, first serve. But a lot of the trips that people see me go on, especially recently, are just with a lot of friends who love to do the same kind of thing. And we all have our own wardrobe and are really into content creation and doing photography, this kind of art. So it makes it a little easier on me. There have been times when I'm responsible for all of the costumes and stuff, and that's very stressful.
Yeah, that's a lot of responsibility.
I love it, but yeah, it's a lot. So once I have like an idea and like the visuals down, we try to find the perfect spot. I love just like Airbnb creeping. I think I told you this. Just like there's so many cool places, and I just love traveling. So it's fun to find the perfect spot. We come up to this area a lot, like New England, Gloucester, Boston is just beautiful for fantasy work. And then we spend a lot of time talking in like group chat about like how everything is going to work. Like the most recent shoot I did with like the big Rococo dresses and the Hobbits. Really cool. It was so much fun, but everyone was just, and there's so many talent. I mean, not that there aren't always talented people, but people are like, I'm going to make my dress. I'm like, I'm going to buy mine because I can't do that. But like,
yeah, that's a crazy effort. Making a dress.
Yeah. My God. I know, just so impressive. So I'm just really fortunate that like, while I usually like head the planning and kind of the big picture, like I get so much help from like my friends and people who come who are just equally excited to do that. So my part is really just like the people planning. I like people organization. I mean, I really love organizing and getting people together.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool to see. And it's one of those things where like I'll be flipping through Instagram, and you know, the video stuff that you've been kind of putting out. I don't know if you've been working with someone for BTS type stuff.
Oh yeah, I had an assistant, Maggie, for the last one, but usually I'm like trying to like, oh yeah, I better like
get a and you always forget, right?
Always,
like anytime you're shooting, it's really tough to remember like, oh yeah, I should probably also get some BTS of like how we did it.
Yeah.
And like for example, yesterday when we shot all the Outlander stuff, I didn't shoot a wink of any BTS stuff.
Yeah.
And I should have taken some pictures of the lighting setups and shit, because I was like obviously really going in on the lighting setups, and like people really like to see that.
Yeah, it would have been really cool. I think I got one like, we're on the side of the road and it's 10 o'clock.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because that's actually kind of a funny story.
Yeah, we should definitely tell that.
So we were shooting yesterday, and the funny part about it is that, so we got there, Marianne from Lost Land was there helping us with some still photos that we started out with, and then it started to rain, and we're like, crap.
Yeah.
So then we go in the car, we wait like a half hour, 45 minutes, it kind of passes, and we're like, all right, sweet. And we get up, we get the stuff over, and then we go from like 6, all of a sudden, you know, the sun's setting, we're doing shot for shot for shot for shot. And it takes a while because it's really just us two. Miriam was there in some of the beginning stuff, and her friend Nate, I believe his name is Nate, was there to kind of like help move some stuff around and watch some of the gear. But it was really just us.
Yeah, we weren't like messing around either. But we're like, like, let's go.
Next shot. And a lot of it is just set up. Does it look good? It kind of looked good, but the framing's weird. Okay, let's try another idea. And then all of a sudden it's like nighttime out. and we're like, oh shoot, look at that. Look at the columns section is completely free. No one's there. Let's go over there. So we start setting up lights. Everything's great. All of a sudden a park person comes out. They're like, the park's been closed.
These like giant like lights. And they're probably like, what the hell?
Yeah, they're probably like, what are they doing? And so they told us the lady was like, you got to get out of here. And I was like, well, I have to get my close up.
And I'm like,
yeah,
like we need to leave now.
Yeah, she was. I could tell based on your face and posture, you were like, all right, we got to cut the shot. I was like, we're not cutting the shot. And so I set up the shot. I was like, all right, we'll be out of here. And I was like, I was looking at your face, and you were like,
I'm a typical like eldest child, you know, like I gotta follow the rules. Like we're gonna get so much trouble if we don't get out of here now.
Yeah. And I was just like, what's the worst they're gonna do? You know. So I got, and it was pretty much set up. So I like dropped the camera, hit record, sat down, did the thing. And then we just like grabbed everything and ran. Like we're like two pack mules. I mean, we had so much gear. And so the place shuts down and we have to leave. And we park right on the side of the road to finish the last two shots. And I had to sort of like mock it to look like where we were before. And the funniest part is I forgot like a battery. So I had to drive all the way back into the park. It's pitch black. The wrong way because the other way is blocked by a guard and like a guardrail. And I'm speeding up there. And I guess you saw the park ranger follow me, right?
Yeah. And I'm like, Randy, you got to get like SOS. Like you got to get out of there.
Yeah. And so I speed down and I park right at the front, like as far as I could park my car. And I just left it running because I figured it's going to stall time. Like whoever finds this car is going to be like, what the, but I took the key so no one could take the car. And so I'm literally sprinting in like these like shiny leather boots to go get this battery. And I found it luckily really fast. And then I'm running back and I see like a flashlight and like a horn beeping like behind my car. The park ranger's like, flashing his light inside my car and shit. He's like, what the hell? And I'm like, oh, don't worry, I'm here. And he's like, whoa. And he's like, hey, what are you? Okay. I didn't know what I was walking into.
Yeah.
And and he was just like, all right, never do that again. And I was like, all right, sure. And then we finished the shot. And that was a late night though.
It was a late night. We were so dehydrated and hungry by the end.
Yeah.
It's like always like that on those shoots though. People it's exhausting.
And with video work, it always takes longer. Mm-hmm. I mean, really any photography work in general, it takes longer than you want it to or expect it to. But that one in particular, I think it was because I was so adamant about using lighting setups to make everything look more cinematic, which I think is going to pay off.
You did an amazing job. It looks awesome. I'm so excited to show people. Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah. It's really fun anytime I get a chance to work on the behind the camera cinematography. It's always funny to do behind the camera and then be in front of the camera.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like, oh, this is why they have stand-ins.
Right.
But what was I was gonna, there was something before that we were talking about, and then I kind of got on this tangent about BTS. So the thing that I've been seeing is like that was really cool about your page was like actually seeing you interacting with people and like sort of suggesting like what to do. Like I think one of the things you had them do was like, oh, just act like you're super drunk.
Yeah.
And so like, did you see that somewhere? Did you like?
I did. I actually. So my wedding photographer told us to do that. And I was like, this is brilliant. I'm stealing it because it just looks so fun and natural. So I made all the women who are there barefoot because we're hobbits, like walk barefoot on a lot of gravel, like pretending to be drunk. I'm like, just do it through the pain. It's going to be great. So I do that specifically. Yeah, I took from Tara. She's awesome. But I think, having been a model too, and I'm sure, same for you, like acting, like, and being on both sides of the camera, it's great. Being able to take those different things that you learn and just apply it, like to help other people. And
yeah. One shot that I have stolen directly from when I was so I did the movie Tuesday, the short film, comes out this winter on Amazon Prime. So when I did that film, I learned a ton because I'm working with people that are shooting Hulu and Netflix and HBO specials and stuff. And so I get to see like real professionals and how they set up shots. And one of my favorite shots that was ever taken is one of the first shots of my face, which is that top down shot of just my head. Mm-hmm. And I stole that directly for the music video that I shot earlier this year. Because there's just something awesome about just seeing that top, like completely topward down framing, like almost like the camera sitting on the ceiling.
Yeah.
For Tuesday, they had this, like, they rigged it up with like a bridge, and then they mounted this camera, and then it was like, because it's a real like RE camera, so it was like had to be like mounted and like secured and everything. It was a little bit more intimidating. But when I did it, I just put it on a set of actually that tripod that's right next to you, and I just jacked it up as high as it could go, and then I kind of had to hold it as steady as I could, and then like hit record, and then be like, all right. Are we perfect? Are we aligned? Like, are we, and it's a little bit different. What's like something that you're looking forward to coming up that you're shooting?
Sure. What am I doing next? I have been so busy. I like have to keep myself like I'm so bad about using a planner too that I
Mm.
try. It's like all my brain most of the time, and when my brain's mush, I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
So this trip actually, I get to see my friends Rachel and Charlotte again. We're gonna do
Nice.
some fun things. I don't want to spoil it because it's like part of Rachel's video that's coming up. She hasn't released yet,
Okay.
so
Yes.
there's that. I'm hosting another retreat weekend. This one was like application kind of thing, or first come, first serve. So I'm getting to meet a lot of new people. I do love when
Ooh.
new people get to come. It's just really magical to like, they're like, this is cool. Like, and so many people are intimidated when they first come to these things for many reasons. I mean, obviously, like I met you on Instagram, like let's go spend like 2 nights together in a big Airbnb in the middle of nowhere.
Trust me.
Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everyone's like, I'm so intimidated by that. But by the end, they're like, oh my God, like this is so cool. And it's so rewarding. And I love that. So I'm doing one of those in September. We're doing some fun themes. Doing a big like Alice in Wonderland, but my take on it, it's not like the Disney kind of version. It's more like kind of dark and like grungy a little bit kind of thing. So yeah, so that's like probably my next like really big shoot, like big like cast, like it's like 10 people that's coming up. So
is it going to be like, because if you're shooting in September, that's prime time like Halloween shooting too, because you can kind of shoot some stuff, save it, and release it in October for spooky season.
Absolutely.
So do you have any of that in mind?
Season. I need to start planning that. I know people have been starting to plan and like even post some like Halloween, like spooky season content, but
a little early for that, don't you think?
I love Halloween. It is never
too early.
All of the creepies all the time.
Okay,
awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and then I should mention Marianne of Lost Lands Collections and I are going to San Francisco and LA in October. Might be there for Halloween. I'm not sure, but I'm really excited. I just got to meet her in person yesterday. I mean, you mentioned that, but yeah, I'm really excited to do a retreat with her. We're doing like a model workshop retreat. So
that's one of those things where, you know, you hadn't met her in person yet.
Exactly. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. And then like, it's like you're meeting each other for the first time, but it's, there is something nice. I think sometimes social media does get like a bad rap because rightfully so. At times.
For sure, yeah.
But there are moments where I think social media is brilliant. And that is when you get to connect with someone. And sometimes when you meet someone for the first time, it doesn't feel so new like you're meeting them for the first time. You have a little bit of trust with them, a little bit of rapport. You've been laughing through texts or whatever. So it's a lot more natural going into it. And it's kind of crazy that you're like, all right, you want to go to LA?
I know. Isn't that wild? I always think back, you know, like the days where like chat rooms and stuff. When my mom have said, like, I'm just like, she has to be like terrified, you know, that I would be doing something like that. Like, I'm going to go meet some people I've never met from the internet, like in real life.
Yeah, we're actually going to stay together in a or in an Airbnb for like a week.
Right. Yeah. But I just feel like, you know, people have their phones on them all the time now. And it's a little more trustworthy when like they're constantly posting pictures of themselves and like video of themselves. And it's like, okay, like this seems like, legit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and you have the ability to sort of like vet the people that it's not like an AOL chat room anymore, you know, where it could be literally anyone, you know, you get to see like, for example, with Lost Land, that she's posting people that she's working with all the time.
Exactly.
And so it's like, oh, this person's got a reputation. They're trustworthy. They're fun.
For sure.
Yeah. What's like something that is in sort of your back pocket that you want to like do, but you haven't done yet?
Oh, wow. Let me think about
you got
that
this,
one.
and here I'll try and create some time for you to think about it. So you did the sort of like Hobbit style one. You did this with me. That was Outlander.
I've always wanted to do that, so check that off.
Yeah, yeah. That was fun. Great time. We still got to do a little bit of sound design on there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that's gonna be fun. And then you got this Alice in Wonderland coming up, and then LA. I think, is that like a free for all out there? What's going on out there?
We have some like loose ideas. We're gonna take advantage of the beautiful beaches there, of course. Maybe do some like water, like siren kind of things. Yeah. I'm trying to think like what I really want to do. I've been really fortunate to like knock a lot of it out. But of course there's things I still want to do. Honestly, I love traveling so much. I tend to base my shoots on a location. I get a location and idea, and like let's do that. Unless I'm doing one of these really like large scale things, where like confined to an Airbnb or something, or like just make it work.
Right.
So I've kind of been like dipping my toes into cosplay a little bit. It's really fun. And I just like see, not like a hardcore or anything. I don't know. I mean, it's so amazing for people who do it, but I don't know how to sew at all. So I guess I'll take it this direction. Like I would really love to learn how to sew and like make my own costumes and stuff. So maybe not like a, photography like thing in my back pocket, but like maybe I would like to plan some sort of like ambitious like sewing project and like make a thing and then base a shoot around that or something like that. Yeah.
I know it's completely different, but I feel like a Star Wars themed thing would be kind of fun. I know that has like, you're like, okay.
You're saying this for yourself?
Yes, 100%. But I feel like it's sort of in this, not really the same, but it's like fantasy based and it's like very costume heavy.
Oh, you know what? I just thought of one. Okay. So, and when I was in LA in May, I was planning a Dune shoot.
Dune.
Yeah. And I would love to do Dune. I was going to collaborate with a brand, Holy Voyage. It was going to make some kind of Dune inspired, just very like gauzy kind of, desert like inspired outfits. And I was going to do like a Lady Jessica outfit, but her costumes are so beautiful and so involved in that film. So that would be amazing to do that and like go back out to the Dune. I didn't get to see them, but that would be like so cool. I love that movie so much. Really fun. Yeah.
Yeah. That was and oddly enough, I think that was one of the first new sci-fi films that I thought checked a lot of like unique boxes. It didn't really feel like a recycled material. There was like a few things, but it's like, I thought it was very unique. It was fun. It told a good story, and really excited to see the next one come out.
For sure. Yeah, I can't wait. And I don't even usually like sci-fi that much. I'm very picky about it. But I just really love the noir kind of quality that the movie had. It was kind of like just like ominous the whole time. It was kind of anxious. I don't know. I really liked it.
And Timothy Chalamet is easy on the eyes. So, that helps. Pretty much that whole cast was just like hot people.
It's true. Zendaya. Yeah.
Jason Momoa shaved. Is he clean shaven?
I was like, okay.
Yeah, it was like, it's so funny. You're so used to seeing that guy with like a beard because he's always playing like Aquaman. Or even when he's not playing Aquaman, he's got a beard. Like he was in some movie where it was some drama-based movie where like his wife died and he went to go out to, find the people that were responsible kind of a thing. And beard for that.
Yeah.
It was an interesting choice to see him without a beard because it completely changes his face.
I know. Yeah. So different.
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
Yeah. Are there like, so outside of like photography things, so obviously photography keeps you the most busy, but like, is there anything else that you like really enjoy doing? Like for example, you see this studio full of crap. I play drums all the time. I record music and stuff. Like what other sort of things like inspire you or keep you going?
Yeah. I mean, I love, like I mentioned earlier, just like all art forms. I mean, I did musical theater and acting for a long time. I thought that's what I wanted to do for a very long time. It's like such an incredibly stressful, I mean, as an actor as well, it's just like super stressful. But I did tons and tons of theater, like all through high school and college. And then some after college, done some professional like theater.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you do professionally?
So I worked at a regional theater in high school and college. I started off there doing Sound of Music as Liesl. That was like my first like professional thing.
Very nice.
But the last like professional thing I did was Barefoot in the Park. Do you know? It's like so there's a movie based on the play. It's a Neil Simon play. It's really cute. It's this newlywed couple in New York like moves into this kind of like charming but quirky, like weird apartment in a, like the third floor, fourth floor walk up. And the wife is very like whimsical and cute. It's Jane Fonda in the movie. And then her husband's just kind of this gruff, like businessman, kind of like straight laced.
Yeah.
And it's it's a really cute story about how they, learned, they really do love each other despite like their differes. And, it's really cute. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That seems really cool. And also cool that you got to do that professionally. Cause I feel like, a lot of times with like, theater, I tend to think of like high school plays and like maybe like community theater or something. But I haven't actually. I've been to one Broadway show my whole life.
Yeah, and remind me what it was you saw.
I saw that. What was it like?
You saw the Diana musical, didn't you?
Yes.
That is so funny to me. They're like,
yeah.
Why did you pick that one?
We didn't. So my buddy Eric, he was also the director of Tuesday, and he lives in New York. He's a big he is a playwright by his like profession. So I was like, I'd love to go see Broadway. I've never been, and what better of a person to go with than Eric? And so he was like, I have a brilliant idea. Instead of trying to figure out and pick one, there's this little thing that you can do called like, pretty much randomize. And on the day, they announce what tickets you got. And he's like, there's certain plays I checked off that I know aren't good. And then I left some that are like kind of weird, but would maybe be fun.
Yeah.
And so the one that we got was the Princess Diane. and
so
like
funny.
And it was hysterical. Because and not intentionally hysterical.
So I've heard. I don't know a lot about it, but I like kind of saw. I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, it is. It's really weird. It's a weird, all of a sudden, just like there's the whole like the dress reveal. I don't know if you remember, there was this big moment where she was told to dress a certain way. And so she comes out and she wears this dress and it's very tight. It's very, and what did they call it? I think they called it the fuck it dress or something. And in the play. And so the whole musical score is like the fuckity, 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 fuck it dress. And like they're all dancing and it's like, you're like, wow, all right, this is a big choice.
Musical theater, yes.
Yeah. And it's funny because like everyone is giving it their all, obviously, and the singers are great. And like the set design is also good. And it's just like very well made. But it's like you're watching it like, what are we watching? And there's just like certain lines and like there was something like, oh, I knew he was a Scorpio. I was like, what are we, like all this stuff. And the one thing that really got me was there's this really famous, I think, situation where she went in and visited people with AIDS.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so they made a whole score out of it. And she's like dancing around and it's like the AIDS song.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. It felt weird. And like some of the lines that are in the song is very just like not uncomfortable to teach you something. Just like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Musical theater is so interesting. I mean, I love it for what it is. It's not, I much rather just do plays but people produce musical theater so often, but it is interesting when they, take really serious topics like that and make them, I don't know. I just think it's making it more relatable to people. I mean, you know Rent, I'm sure. Like,
yes. Yeah.
So, Rent, it's
525,600.
that is the one. Yeah. It's good.
I might get copyrighted for that. That was so good, huh?
Cut it right there, Randy.
Cut it.
Yeah. But yeah, some like especially modern musical theater is just like not always my cup of tea. Like there's some, But the Diana one, you're gonna have to go back and see something a little better.
Yeah, what would you suggest if I should go see something?
So I've heard Hadestown is amazing. It's
that one has a really cool outside too. Like it's all like the theater that it resides in is very like done up.
Okay. I haven't. It's so sad. I haven't been to a live show and so long, like let alone like go to, I mean, I've been to New York, but when I'm there, it's always like very fast and I don't have time to see anything, but I would love to see Hadestown. I have listened to a couple of the songs. It just sounds really beautiful. And it's kind of like soulful jazz, like Southern jazz. And it's based on, I don't want to speak incorrectly, but I know part of it's based on like Orpheus and Eurydice, which is one of my favorite stories. It's just really beautiful. Yeah.
That should be a shoot that you can do. Screw the Star Wars stuff, because man, you were stone cold when I said that.
I like Star Wars, but
yeah, not your cup of tea though. It's fine, you can say it. But what about like a Greek mythology based shoot?
Yeah, I would love to do Orpheus and Eurydice. I tried to do a Eurydice like self portrait thing, but so much of my work is natural light, and I don't really have a studio set up to do anything like that would. It didn't work very well is what I'm trying to say. So to do something like that a little bit better with a perfect location and everything would be awesome.
Yeah. Almost have to like fly to Greece to do it.
You would have to. Yeah. Hire me in Greece.
Yeah. Someone in Greece, just like fly her out. That would be a ton
do
of fun.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. I would love to do something like that too, like some sort of Greek god based shoot
That would be
of some kind.
awesome.
Even if I
Yeah.
wasn't like playing the god, if I was like, if there was like Aphrodite and I was just like praying to, like something to that like effect of just like being a part of that sector of mythology would be a ton of fun.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. My friend Maddie is really good at that kind of stuff. It's like, I don't know. So sometimes I'm like that, like Maddie is so good at that. Like, do I want to do I want to try? Yeah.
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 Yeah. What's been like one of your big like learning lessons when it comes to your work? Like, for example, sometimes like it's so silly, but I'll get more technical with it. Is like whenever I was shooting video, I would forget to check that my shutter speed and my frame rate made sense together. Because if they don't make sense, if they're not double each other, then it looks weird when you shoot. And that was one thing that I would get into the editing room and be like, go to do a slow-mo. And I'm like, oh, I didn't have my frame rate right. So now the slow-mo looks like garbage. And you spend a lot of unnecessary time like, okay, well now I know when I go to shoot again, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't have to be super technical like my example, but has there been stuff like that?
Yeah, I think mine is less technical and more just like life experience.
Right,
But and I'm still learning this. I'm not good at it.
Mhm.
I run myself into the ground a lot.
What?
I just get
planning
so
these huge
excited.
things?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I get so excited. And my husband always reminds me, he's like, please stop. Like, please slow down. But I'm like, I love it. I have to keep doing it. Like,
Yeah.
and I've always been that way with about everything I do. I'm just get so excited and I have so much I want to do. I'm like, I can't like slow down or I'll lose momentum.
Yeah.
So I think I need to, learn how to pace myself a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I'm trying. We'll
Yeah.
see. Hopefully it'll get easier now that I'm doing photography full time. I can have downtime where it's just like I can create for myself and not like at home or just like locally and not have to like jam into like when I see my friends like on these long weekends or something like that.
Yeah, that's huge. And actually a really good point to talk about, which is this huge decision to say bye-bye day job.
Yeah.
Welcome my creative lifestyle. So please walk me through that decision-making process, how you kind of like because how I think about it too, right, is someone might be listening to this that is also a photographer that maybe wants to jump out of their job, but maybe it's too soon for them. Maybe it's not too soon. Who knows?
Sure.
But maybe they could be helped by someone like yourself that made the jump.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I don't know how great or like sound or logical my advice is, but
yeah, and if she gives bad advice, it is completely her fault. I want everyone to know.
This is just me. I think as an actor too, like you hear a lot of stories of just go for it. Just people doing it. Like, right. You can't like if you keep waiting and waiting and waiting, it's not going to happen. You just have to like do the thing.
Right.
So I was really scared to do that in my 20s. Like up until now, basically, like I was just really scared. Like if I fail, like it's just going to spiral and it's going to be awful. Like, everyone has some degree of anxiety, I believe. Like, I was just really anxious about it. And just with all the work and the people I've been meeting recently, just encouraging me to do it, just like make the jump. I'm like, yeah, I have to do it. And I had a nice day job. It was like great people that I worked with and it paid pretty well. But
what was it, by the way?
I was an office manager for a digital marketing agency.
Okay.
So
and how long did you do that for?
I was there for like 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a long time. And it's like, I'm not, like, I know some people are passionate about doing that kind of thing, which is great. But I just knew I always wanted to do art. I think I told you, like, I have a degree in history and a minor in theater, like, just because, like, I need a degree, so I'll get a degree. And I love it. But I'm like, I need to do something creative. Yeah. Exactly. So I just, like, I don't know how like well thought out it was. I knew it was coming. I didn't know like when it was going to happen. It was just like, I was in LA actually. And I was just like, I have to, like, this is it. Like I just have to do it. So I quit and gave them a month's notice. So I like kind of like geared up for a month and yeah, here I am.
Wow.
Still terrified, but I think if
it's
you.
It's pretty fresh, right?
Yeah.
When was your last day?
June 17th.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
so we're
about a month. It's a month today, right? Yeah.
Wow, that's funny, actually.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so it's terrifying, but I think if you are really passionate and you know, this is bad, maybe bad, but like, I know there are a lot of people who have passions, but like, don't feel like you have to don't feel like you have to do it. Like, I know, like, I have a lot of friends who are actors who feel like they're missing out on like some grand, like, romantic idea. Like, I have to do this. I'm like betraying myself if I can't do this thing that I've always wanted to do. And like, it's okay to walk away from that too. Like,
yeah. Or at least like put it on like a back burner until it's right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, even with me in my acting pursuits, I understand that like I also have to make some sort of monetary impact on my life. And acting as of right now is just not gonna do it. You know, like most of the gigs I'm doing right now, it's volunteer work, you know, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I have a great time doing it, but I have a great time doing it because I have a job that actually supplies income. So I usually suggest that like if people are going to make some sort of jump, that in your case, you do have like some sort of monetary grab on the other side.
Yeah.
It's like some people are like, oh, you can't just do it for the money, but like food costs money.
Yeah,
gas
you have
costs
to
money.
live.
Yeah, like,
yes.
you know.
Oh God, gas. Yeah.
Yeah, so especially gas these days. So like it does have to make some sort of financial sense. One of the things that I saw, there was this guy I follow on Instagram, Michael Jamin. He's like a big writer. He's like writes for Hollywood, like big like guy in the writing space. And he makes some really, really good content online for writers. But I look at it a lot of times as just the lens of a creator. And one of the things that he said is actually, wait a minute, this isn't Michael Jamin. This was in The Art of Auditioning. Sorry, Michael Jamin, you're still great. So in The Art of Auditioning book, one of the suggested job roles that they gave was a substitute teacher, because you can call out and they just have a replacement. And then you get to go in on the days when you get to go in, but oftentimes you get out at like 2:30.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're done with your workday a lot earlier than a lot of people, and you can do your creative endeavors for the rest of the day. And I was like, I never really thought about a substitute teacher position like that. But
yeah, absolutely. For sure. Yeah. And, you know, right now I'm like, what my hope would be, because honestly, like, I don't know if I am like, so back up a minute. Like I was at the point in my day job where I was working 2 jobs, like 2 full-time jobs. Like I was always busy on the weekends doing like clients' photography stuff. Even if it was my own like stuff sometimes, I mean, that's building my brand, right? So it still works.
Course. Yeah. 100%.
So yeah, I mean, that was one of the factors. Like I don't want to quit the photography stuff. So it has like one or the other. So it has to be that one. But at the same time, like, yeah, I probably still need to find some sort of like, like side job. Like you said, like I would like to do just like content creation for a small business or something like that.
And I think it's very viable for you, especially because like that's something that you can do remote, virtually, and can exist in parallel with what you're already doing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. And like, I do applaud you for it. It is like a really big and, a big decision to move on from the full-time job. But I think in your case makes a lot of sense.
Thanks. I hope so.
Yeah.
Like I said, it is. I am terrified, but yeah.
You should be scared. No. But was there anything from the digital marketing stuff that like you thought, because you worked there for 5 years, did any of that stuff like help apply into your creative side of things? Yeah,
for sure. So it's really interesting watching them do like the branding and talk about cohesive branding. So we're kind of like a one-stop shop kind of place. Like we had a whole design team who did things from like UX interfacing. And then we also had like project managers, client service, analytics, like business analytics. So it was fun just to like see all the pieces come together. I mean, when I started there, I had no idea about any of this stuff. So it was really cool to just watch like what the designers did for brands to make them cohesive. So it's been cool to like kind of apply some of those principles to my own stuff. Yeah,
that sounds kind of familiar. That sounds like we're definitely using like the stuff you don't care about that you learn at work to apply to the things that you actually care about outside of work. That's brilliant.
For sure.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, it's fun too because when you get to take those things that you learn at work, you realize that, all this stuff is so important. And if I can correctly apply all that to my own stuff, I do create a nice cohesive idea and design.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. For sure. Yeah. Like I said, I mean, it was a really interesting place to work, but yeah,
Yeah.
glad I'm not there
Yeah.
anymore.
Oh gosh. So I've actually been curious. So you travel a ton,
I do.
right?
Yes.
Do you like food, period? Like, are you a foodie? Do you consider yourself like when you travel, you're like, oh, I want to get the local grub?
I do. I really like food.
Okay, so let's talk food then. So some of the places that you've traveled to, what have been like some of like, some of the better spots to go to? Like, okay, for example, I know you live in Philly.
hmm
If I was to go to Philly, like where
hmm
would, because like I feel like the most typical thing is like go to, was it Geno's or so like
Pat's and Geno's.
Yeah,
Yeah. The
yeah.
cheesesteak places. Okay. So I don't like cheesesteaks.
Okay.
But if you,
Blasphemous.
I know, live in Philly and hate cheesesteaks. I'm just like, what? I don't need this.
Yeah.
What I've heard though is like you shouldn't. I mean, they're tourist places basically. Like, sure, you
Yeah.
can go there and it's an experience because they're like literally like right across the street from each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, just find like a little like mom and pop shop and like that's your cheesesteak place. Like we have one in our neighborhood that's great. Lee's. It's called Lee's. It's like a deli and like yeah, and I've heard it's a really good cheesesteak. But yeah.
But you don't like cheesesteaks.
But I don't like cheesesteaks.
So
Are you
what-
asking me? I thought you were asking about cheesesteaks. Okay.
No, more so just like, like if I go to Philly, like people would tell me to go there. But like, so, you've been all over the place.
Mhm,
Are there places that you would suggest people to go to or that you went to on your travels that
For
you're like,
food
oh,
stuff.
this is a must stop?
Yeah. Let me think here. So in LA, I went to this really cool place called I think it's called Gracias Madre. It's
Ooh.
I think it's all vegan actually.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but it's a really good Mexican place, really good margaritas. I know you love a margarita too.
I do love my margaritas.
Yeah, really good margarita. So that was like a really good LA pick. Where else have I been? So there's a tiny spot in Gloucester, which I'm gonna make it there this time. The last couple times I haven't been, but it's a little hole in the wall called the Causeway. Really good, like fresh seafood. Like it's more like fish and chips, like lobster bisque, kind of like
Yeah.
diner kind of seafood, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
But
but that's great.
yeah,
like
it's
places
so
like that are
good.
awesome.
Yeah, and I love seafood. So yeah, and you took me some great places in Mystic. That was really fun.
Yeah, Mystic.
Hop around.
Yeah, you got the big three. So you got Oyster Club, Red 36, and Engine Room.
Thank you. Yeah, I could not remember the names. I was like, there were oysters and they were good.
Yes, yeah. No, it's funny, like when people, because I know like Connecticut kind of gets like this like in between state bad rap kind of a thing, but I think this place has some good spots. You have to, I would say there's a lot of junk in like the center section, but like there's really good stuff in Mystic, and then like New Haven is like a huge hub for like really good food in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Obviously New Haven pizza. I know New Yorkers are very like, new pizza's our thing, but if you look at some of these ratings, Connecticut pizza seems to be quite up there.
Are you heading toward Frank's? Is that where you're going with this?
So yeah, because you hate it. Oh, you didn't hate Frank Pepe's, but you were talking some trash.
It's just, I mean, so many people, like I posted it in my Instagram story and people were like, it's overrated. So I mean, most people said like, agree with me. I'm just saying.
Oh, do you think they were agreeing with you because they wanted to agree with you though, or because they actually felt that way?
No, I think they really felt that way.
Damn it. All right. Fuck. I was trying to get out of it. No, I mean, I personally had a fantastic experience at Frank Pepe's. I'm trying to think if I liked Sally's or Modern better, but they're all like very similar style. It's thin crust. It's usually kind of crispy-ish. And like, I guess I just really don't like the pizza that is like the Chicago style pizza that is like
the deep dish stuff.
Yeah, and maybe I could get into a deep dish, but like I don't like that you can only have one slice and then you're like,
yeah, I'm not a fan of like the deep dish stuff either. It's just like too much. Yeah.
I feel like a bad pizza joint is gonna give you too much cheese to try and make it seem like it's better.
Yeah.
But it's like I'd rather have more slices instead of one slice.
Exactly.
And then I feel like I ate like a mini lasagna or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't need that.
Yeah. Well, I know we're coming up on an hour here-ish. Before we kind of sign off, is there anything that you think that I missed that you want to talk about, chat about?
No, I think you did a good job. We covered pizza,
Yeah.
the job quitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got it all.
Photography
all the
stuff.
photography
I
stuff.
was trying to get some more like things about you that people might not know. So maybe we can end it somewhere around there.
Okay.
Like for example, like people might not know that you also sing.
Oh, I do. Yeah. Sometimes.
Um,
Yeah, like sometimes. I like singing, but yeah, it's not my like.
Yeah, it's not like, like I'm a singer. But I mean, I say the same thing. I'm not a singer, but like I can sing, but I really enjoy it. But I don't know. It's kind of fun because like I think people know you for being a photographer, but they might not know like
well, it's fun to talk about the acting thing. I think that's like, that was fun. Yeah, I do miss that. Yeah, I would really love to get back into, but it takes so much work too. And I feel like it would be hard to like
try and do both.
I'd have to take a break basically from, because rehearsals are just so intense for stage plays.
Well, yeah, stage stuff in particular, because you have to have everything perfect for one shot all the way through. And that can be really, really tough. No breaks, no nothing. Just like boom,
but that's
boom,
what
boom.
I like about theater, I think, is it's just like you're in the moment. It's not the same every night. Like it's just always like a new, it's just really magical.
Yeah, someone forgot a line. We got to improvise on stage.
I've done that. Yeah.
Ooh.
It's bad. Like
that's good.
bad. Like we skipped 3 pages of dialogue bad. Yeah.
Whoa.
It's the only time that's ever happened. I just like, so my scene partner like forgot a line. Or not forgot. He said like my cue word. He said it a little different, and then like my brain was just like that. I don't know what. Like that's not the word that like triggers the next thing in my, because you're on autopilot at a certain point,
and a lot of it is reaction
like,
too.
Yeah. So that was bad. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, I definitely want to get you some more on camera stuff, because even just seeing what we did yesterday, I'm like, wow, natural.
Thanks. It was fun. Fun. Yeah.
So I think we'll get you on some on camera stuff at some point, and it'll maybe little stuff just to like cater to your super busy schedule. But I think that I think the years of stage experience have definitely helped your ability to be on camera.
Well, that I'm glad you think so. I feel like it's so different. I mean,
it is, because it's a little bit like with stage. I feel like everything kind of has to be grand.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, because like you're playing to a live audience who's like there, and like the camera's in your face when you're, Yeah. So I was a little worried yesterday. I'm like going to be like, just like ridiculous. Kind of
like way overacting.
Like I don't need that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you did great. I thought, and it was like, it's one of those things where I knew you were a stage actor. Have you done film stuff before? I
think maybe like 1 or 2 little things, just like help a friend, like a little like bit thing. But yeah.
But nothing crazy. Yeah, because like as soon as we started shooting, I was like, damn, this girl's got it. I think
you're
really
too kind. Thank you.
Yeah. So we'll get you on more camera stuff in the future. But for now, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This is fun.
Yeah. It goes by really fast. You wouldn't think like an hour is like that, but just goes. So tell people where they can find you.
Okay.
As far as like social media, email, whatever you want to say. It's your time to say it.
All right. So I'm Liza Roberts on like TikTok, which I'm not good at, and on Instagram. Those are my main platforms. So I think that's the only important thing you need to know.
And it's the same on each one?
Yeah, Liza Roberts. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you.
And talk to you soon.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to Bone Apple Tea. If you like the show, please give us a follow, like, comment, subscribe, whatever it is. Tell your friends about it. And make sure to follow us on Instagram. That's Bone Apple TV, BoneAppleTeav on Instagram. Thanks so much.